the errors which we did last time, we grouped them into two. There are those errors which do affect the agreement of a trial balance, and there are those errors which do not affect the agreement of a trial balance. And then we saw how we can be able to rectify them properly. Those errors which did not affect the agreement of a trial balance, you debited the account which was supposed to be debited, you created the account which was wrongly debited, and vice versa. But those ones which did affect the agreement of a trial balance, we passed them through suspense account. And that's what we did last week, about the other week now, about those particular errors. So tonight, we want to look at those particular kind of tools we are supposed to use to check where the errors must have been committed. And that tool which we are supposed to use is what we call control account. So control account, sometimes we call it a self-balancing account. It's the account which is supposed to be prepared so that they can also check whether there are some errors in the ledgers. And these errors in the ledgers, mostly, we have got so many mistakes which can easily be committed from the sales ledger when we sell goods on credit, because there are numerous of them, equally when we purchase goods on credit. So in this particular case, we need to see how we can be able to check where the errors must have been committed. The first particular kind of the control account, which we are supposed to use, is what we actually call the two types of control account. The first type of control account we are supposed to use is what we actually call the sales ledger control account. And we have another one which we call the purchases ledger control account. So these are the only two types of accounts which we are supposed to use when we want to check whether there are some errors which have been committed in the books of accounts. So there are two types of control accounts. One is sales ledger control account. Another one is what we call purchases ledger control account. Sales ledger control account, sometimes we call them debtors ledger control account. And then we have the other account which we normally call the purchase ledger control account, which we normally call creditors ledger control account. What is the main purpose of control account? The main purpose of control account is to check the errors. Number two is reconcile the balances in the ledger with the personal individual ledgers. The other one is to prevent fraud made committed or prevent embezzlement of funds. And then it can assist us to find our total debtors and the total creditors wherever we want them. And mostly it will assist us to control the credit transactions. So those are some of the main. Yeah, yeah. 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 Si tuko class. So there is a, those are the main two accounts which we need to prepare in respect of this particular kind of control account. So I've given you the main purpose of why we prepare control accounts. So I want you to write something down. Then from there, we can be able to do the questions together with you. So niandike the heading, a control account. That's our new heading, in that case, control account.